Hello, I'm Cameron Steele here with Jayson Blair. The Commonwealth Chronicle has sat down with Blair to talk about his decision to keynote the Journalism Ethics Institute at Washington University. Thanks for talking with me, Jayson.
You're welcome, Cameron.
I've been very interested in hearing your comments over the past few days, and there's so much discussion about the decision for you to keynote this Ethics Institute. Why did you agree to do it?
At its core, simply, I personally, haven't wanted to talk about journalism in general. But Ed Wasserman convinced me that there was a piece of my story that he had heard that he felt like he hadn't heard anywhere else. And once he made the case to me, I sort of felt a duty and an obligation to come down and kind of close the chapter as it relates to journalism.
You've refused to talk publicly about your past at the New York Times before. So why now? And you said also in your speech that it'll be the last time you speak publicly about it.
That doesn't mean that first thing I should say, it doesn't mean I won't, talk privately to journalism students or other people like that who have interest in it, just not publicly. And I think, it ties into the answer to your question, which is for me, it's a new phase in my life. I'm spending a lot more time focused on mental health related work, mental health advocacy work, my work as a life coach. Those kinds of things, I think, are taking on sort of prominence in my life. This gives me a good opportunity to sort of close that chapter.
And some might say it was brave or crazy of you to go up on stage and in front of a firing squad of journalists, professors, students, academics. Was it part of your healing process? What was it like being up on stage?
Well, to say that I don't think it was really a part of a healing process in the sense that I needed to do this to somehow heal. I've gotten to the point, the most difficult thing in all of this for me has been forgiving myself. So I have gotten to the point already where I've forgiven myself for what I did. I just see it as an opportunity to do something good and for something good to come out of my actions. Not that it makes up for them, not that it makes it okay, but it's something good that can come out of it. And yes, I think it was brave and crazy.
Well, watching you speak, I noticed that you seemed a lot more nervous when you were giving your actual speech and more calm and composed when you were answering these questions from people who really do, some of them despise you. What made you so calm?
I find it easy to talk to people. I find it unnatural that any human being would speak for 15 minutes straight without an interruption. But that's the honest truth. I like dialogue. I like conversation. I think it humanizes people. I think it's easy to sort of attack someone blindly or get lost in, some illogical minefield when you are giving a speech. So I think that I have this general nervousness about speaking, but I don't have a nervousness about having a dialogue with someone. You learn every second of a conversation. You're taking in new information, you're giving out new information, you're evolving and evaluating, and I just think it's the way that we learn the most.
And really, the Ethics Institute is about dialogue, and you were part of that dialogue for 7 hours, 2 days of journalism professors, journalism students, and you. How comfortable were you in that setting, and what did you take from it? What do you think the students took from it?
I thought it was interesting. I mean, a couple of things that, I really enjoyed listening to people talk about journalism case studies. I hadn't done that in a long time, and some of the ethical issues that they deal with. I enjoyed being able to contribute parts of my story, and also I enjoyed being able to contribute to some of the Institute conversations that had nothing to do with, my story of fabrication and plagiarism and just dealt with random issues. But the most impressive thing and the neat thing was definitely the students. There's some bright students here who are really thinking about the important issues, which I think gives me, as a reader, a lot of hope for journalism.
Right. I actually asked you a question after your speech last night. If you found it hard to trust other journalists, do you feel like you will better trust them now, having participated in the Institute?
No. I think that, I think that the problem in terms of trust for me isn't so much I don't think it's a knock on journalism. I think it's just a filter that, in part, that most people have. that when you read a story, you don't just read it and naturally believe it. You read it and you run it through the filter of what facts do I know for sure? Does this fit with the collateral information that I have? It's the same thing that I was talking about when people kept on asking me last night about why should they believe me. You shouldn't necessarily believe me just because I'm speaking. Check it out. See if it rings true. Does it feel true in your life? Okay, what are the facts that are out there saying? I'm always going to read newspapers that way. In terms of being interviewed by journalists myself, like you kind of got at before about my nervousness, I think that some of my lack of trust just relates to, the fact that I am so conditioned and used to having bad things written about me. And that's sort of something I'll carry no matter what. I think what it changed in terms of my view of journalism, getting it, I guess, kind of the point that you were getting at, is that I think I have a lot more hope for it. And a lot more hope for the profession after listening to the students who are here.
And ultimately, what do you think the value is in you addressing journalism students?
I do not know. I don't say that to be flip, but I think that one of the things that happened after the speech last night is I walked into the reception and I said to the people who were at my table, did you guys get anything from this? And they're like, what do you mean, did I get anything from this? I got this, that, and this, and that. I can't tell. I can't tell whether what I have to share is valuable, but certainly from the feedback that I got last night, it got a lot of conversation started that certainly seemed to be valuable. And, I've had lots of interaction with journalists who are here or weren't here since then, who have heard bits and pieces of what happened. And the feedback that I've been getting, aside from whether it was positive or negative for me, is that it seems to have gotten some discussions about some things that people don't normally talk about.
And Professor Wasserman told me in an interview before the Institute that you were paid $3,000 to come and speak. And there's been a lot of speculation about what you're doing with that money.
It's not speculation. There's no speculation to it. What we decided to do is we're going to take a piece of that money to cover my expenses of coming down here and back, and many of my expenses were covered. And then whatever is remaining from that, I'm going to donate to the National Institute of Mental Health Gift Fund, which is an unrestricted fund that goes towards research towards mental illnesses.
And a little bit about mental illnesses in your new role as a life coach. How is that business going for you?
I enjoy it. I truly enjoy the work. I truly enjoy the ability to help people, on a daily basis, and to use some of the skills that I have in terms of, just analyzing things and thinking and even writing and interviewing, to assist people in making their lives better and help them avoid some of the traps and pitfalls that I've run through or run into in my own life, that occurred during the scandal and have occurred since the scandal and occurred before the scandal. So it's nice to be able to take, your worst moments in life, the toughest moments in life, and make something good come out of it. So I feel sort of blessed to have a job where I can do that, because most people who do go through some kind of recovery in their life don't get the opportunity to turn around that bad and every day see it do something good.
So would you say that you are at peace with yourself right now?
I'm never at peace with myself. I think that the moment that I'm at peace with myself, I'm in trouble. I think life is about growth and evolution and changing, and if you were to ask me all the questions you asked me today, tomorrow, and all my answers were the same, to me there would be something wrong with me. Because I need to be, from every person I talk to, every experience I have, I need to be growing, learning, and changing. I'm all for waffling.
How much is the New York Times scandal a part of you? Do you live that story on a day-to-day basis?
No, in recent months, it's probably been a greater part of my life than it normally is, but I tend not to, it's been a long time since, I've spent any serious amount of time focused on it. What I do focus on are the experiences that I had during that time, just because they're a part of my life. So that stuff often comes up, but I would say that, among most people who know me, and even people who know about the scandal or who work with me, there's very little sort of conversation or focus on that.
Okay, well, Thank you so much for taking time to talk to
Thank you
me
for having me.
and talk to all of us.